Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and hopefully today is going to be an awesome one as we are testing out the latest release of the MixMugz TBM-930 Improvement Mod. As you can see, we have our doors open again. Our performance numbers are supposed to be back. There are still a few issues that are still in development, so consider this a beta release, if you will, of the fix to the Sim Update 5. But we're going to take the aircraft up in the air for a quick spin around Tucson. We're just going to check it out up at altitude. We're going to fly it around for a bit, test the autopilot system. We're going to test the nav computer and the FMS and see if there's any issues. We're going to see what the performance numbers look like on both landing and takeoff, and just see what the aircraft's current state is, and then plan some future flights based on that information. So stick around, guys, because we're going to put this aircraft through the paces. If you are interested in learning how to fly the TBM-930 from Microsoft Flight Simulator, consider joining my Patreon site, level tier 2 or above, which gives you access to all of my guides, which include the A320, the G1000, and now the recently released Cessna Citation Longitude. These guides include everything from cockpit tours to full instructions on how to use all the systems, creating your flight plans, as well as the different types of approaches and takeoffs that are available to the different aircrafts. They are extremely detailed, full with pictures and identifying markers to make your flight sim experience with this aircraft as easy as possible. Again, link down to my Patreon site found in the description below. All right, jumping into the cockpit here, we are going to start out by testing our batteries. There's generator. Ignition goes to on, auxiliary boost pumps to on, fuel selection should be at manual, autopilot trim systems remain off, ELT is off as well. We can turn our nav lights on, and oxygen remain off through engine start. Now let's give the starter a nice tick on a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Let's step on downstairs, fire up the Garmin. Monitoring NG percentage to 13%. 13%. We are now going to go into low idle. You can hear the fuel being induced. Looking for 53%. We'll move into high idle. And at 53%, we'll move over into flight idle. All right, there it is. Give it a right click. Oh, nope, sorry, left click, then right click. She goes, clear that master caution. Let's step upstairs for a minute again. Auxiliary boost pumps back into auto, ignition to auto, oxygen now turned on, autopilot trim systems turned on, fuel selection to automatic. And I think we are good. Let's go ahead and turn some panel lights on though. We're very likely going to be landing with a night flight. Let's close some doors. I'm going to pull the yoke and everything away, that way you guys can see everything okay. Let's come on back, close the cabin door, and let's see if the locking mechanisms work. Yes, they do. All right, locked again. Beautiful. All right. Let's see what we got here. Outside air temperature 30 degrees Celsius, so we should be good there. Inertial separator needs to come on for taxi. Parking brake is set. Gear light down. Test lamps functional. Check lamp works. Pressurization switch needs to be to max diff or auto. Max diff is going to pressurize the aircraft the fastest. Auto will be more comfortable for your passengers. All right, looking good. Alternate static air source actually functions. Beautiful. All right. That's my girl. I missed you. Let's set our barometric pressure. I am so ridiculously excited right now, guys. All right. So let's go ahead and throw a quick flight plan into the system here. We're not necessarily going to fly it. We're just testing out functionality, seeing where she's at, right? We'll see. We might fly to Phoenix. Let's fly to Phoenix. That's a quick flight in the TBM. That's like nothing. We may not follow the flight plan, but we'll mess around for a minute. That's nothing for the TBM. So we're at KTUS. We're stepping on over to Phoenix. And who knows, we may change our mind halfway through. What's going on? I can't use the P key. Any of these down here. That's a drag. Alright, let's do this. Maybe if I change my camera angle. There we go. Okay, alright. So there's something down below that we were picking up on. So, alright, another crisis averted. Let's keep on moving. And yes, it's a crisis when it comes to my TBM, guys. Alright, I am that snooty. I have missed this plane so much. I've been wanting to fly it ever since the Sim Update 5. Let's set a transponder code. Actually, yeah, we'll put a transponder. And we'll just set that to enter. 3267 for now. I don't know why I hit that. I wanted to hit that. Let's see here. Charts integration. Charts data fails. So let's go ahead and go to the home page. Go to utilities, setup, avionics, back, database instead. Oh, mercy. All right. Pull this over here. Sign in. There is an error determining which application you are signing into. Please return to the application. Uh-oh. That's something that I think our boys here are going to have to worry about. Let's check this. This may work. And at the end of the day, this is the G3000. This is working title. This isn't MixMugz or the TBM mod. So if it fails, it's not the end of the world. I'm just trying to get her back into flight ready status, if you will. All right, so it's not liking that. We'll come back to it another time. Hopefully that doesn't break anything. If we get a crash to desktop and that's still going, you know, it's kind of fair to assume that that could have been a problem. All right, our lighting configuration still works. And again, that's more working title than anything, but still, just like to check everything out. All right, so let's get her up and fly. I mean, there really isn't a whole lot in here that I have to worry about. We can throw a departure if we wanted to. We can throw a sit-in, but I'm really not concerned about it. Kind of just want to check the nav ability. Oh, because it's on the charts menu, that's why. Navigation, clear that master caution. What were you giving me a master caution for? Oh, inertial separator and no stall heat. All right. So, now for the good stuff. Let's get this beauty out of here. All right. Brakes, check. Or rudders, good. All right, let's release that parking brake. Let's get my baby out of here. Jose, move your head. Move your head. Dude, you see the big wing? Oh. Someone get some Tylenol. He's going to need it. Holy taxi. Calm down, girl. I know I missed you too. Holy mercy. Okay, so the rudder input is definitely there. See what it is, guys. It's like, you know, when you know, you've been away from your animals for too long. You know, your pets. Let's say you went on a trip and you come back and your pets go crazy. That's all that's happening here. Okay, she missed me. I missed her. You know, let's calm down. All right, it's okay. While we're on the taxi, I should probably check ATIS. Even though I hate tuning into ATIS. Tune in right. That's what I wanted. Thank you. Oh, I should probably change that right away. Let's go back to our navcom and switch. I said switch. Did I turn the taxi light on? I did not. Nope. I'm sorry. I'll settle down, I promise. At some point I'll get off of this. I'm so happy. I'm very excited to be back in this plane. I have missed this plane. This is, I've said it a million times, easily my favorite plane in the simulator. I mean, bar none. She's so much fun to fly. It's fast, sleek, turns well, looks gorgeous. So again, though, the biggest thing to remember here is that we are not dealing with a complete fix. Whoa, okay, that was a terrain bug. Although she's taxiing like a monster. which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So this is sort of an initial beta release, if you will. As I stated, by the way, link down in the description. It's flightsim.2 is where you'll find it. By the way, drinking a Monster at 8 o'clock at night when you have to be up at 5, really dumb idea. But what the hell? Ironically enough, as far as the weather goes, there truly is lightning and all that good stuff going on outside and a nice pretty sunset. So, I don't know if it was intentional or by accident, but they got it right. Alright, are you really at idle? Because I'm not buying that. It says it is. But we're taxing almost 30 knots at idle power. And I know a turboprop that's not terribly uncommon, but she's also pulling real hard to the right. By the way, this is the only mod I have installed right now. I wanted to make sure I gave it a very fair test. So no scenery mods, no texture enhancements, no airport textures, nothing. Literally just the TBM-930 Improvement Mod is installed right now. That's why we have the handlebar again, which I freaking hate. It's pretty though, huh? There she is, all her glory. Oh, I love this plane. A long taxi over 29 right. I'm really excited to see what the speed bugs are going to look like. Well, speed bugs, I should say, speed performances are going to look like. What I'm really expecting is flaps 1. We shouldn't get a good rotation to about 95 knots. Once we hit 95 knots, she should pick up. The previous time I flew her shortly after Sim Update 5 to give you guys some comparison, she was wanting to rotate at about 60 knots, which is way too fast for this aircraft. It's way too soon. So hopefully we get our performance numbers back. And then landing speed, again, we should be looking at 85 knots on the approach and between 80 and 70 knots for touchdown, depending on, obviously, weather conditions, etc. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it all works out. Crossing my fingers for my lady here. My little love. You know what's funny, though? When I first started flying Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's probably the first one that I actually truly jumped into aircraft other than the airliners. X-Plane 11, big Zebo fan. I was always flying the Zebo. Zebo. That 737 is a monster. I would... Right up there with the Flybywire A320 for anyone who doesn't know. X-Plane 11 had a similar team that was working with the 737, and they did the same thing. Took a free model and built it into an incredibly high-fidelity aircraft. Okay, so apparently I had hit my record button and shut the recording off. So as I was saying anyway, long story short, the Zebo 737 was absolutely freaking phenomenal. Okay, so we're going to first set up a couple things that I just thought about that I wanted to test as well. So let's come down to our flight level control. And we're going to set us for 124 knots for best speed. I don't know why I'm doing it like that. Let's use my speed bug here. That goes so much faster. There we go. Let's set our altitude for, let's go 6,500 for now. And I think that's all I need for here for the moment. Let's release that parking brake and let's get out on the runway. We've already got our strobe light set and landing lights are on. Inertial separator set. Flaps are down. Remember, we never want to taxi with the flaps on. We always set our flaps right before takeoff. Alright. Alright, let's get ready to get out of here. Alright, so let's get our aircraft out of here. We're going to tap that heading bug aligned with the runway. You'd be surprised. I'm actually really proud of myself for remembering that because I always forget. Parking brake released, and now the performance test. Here we go, guys. We're looking for takeoff power at 95 knots. Watching that torque. No, whoa, lot of right rudder being required. Looking good. Nice long takeoff roll, coming back. Whoa, that's from the right rudder. Although there's a pretty good crosswind there. Why do we have a tailwind and yet it put this as our runway? That's just stupid. All right, landing gear coming up. We're at 20 knots over V2. We're at 20 knots over rotate. Flaps up. Oh, I think I just hit flaps down. That was my bad. Whoops. Flap indications are working right. Trim's responding well. All right, let's get that yaw damper turned on. And let's check out autopilot. So now we should be looking for, oh, our flight level control got, whoa, everything got reset. What's going on here? Why are you diving down? Altitude is locked in, and yet we are descending. So let's go to flight level control, bring her up. All right, fair enough. So it just reset the flight level control. We're okay. I didn't realize that it did that. That was interesting. All right, so we're coming back down to 124 knots for climb out. Looking great. That was pilot error. A bad pilot error, but it was definitely pilot error. Performance is great. No stuttering, no lag of any kind. Everything's operating well. Let's go into heading mode. And let's set our heading bug. I'm going to come, let's go northeast here. Let's use altitude hold and lock us down here and see what it does. It should have locked us to where we were, but, well, actually no, I would have had to disengage and re-engage it, so actually that's probably fine. So let's do that. Let's go vertical speed and then back into altitude. There we go. Okay, that worked. Gosh, has it been that long? Acting like I've never flown this thing before. Alright, inertial separator coming off. Let's monitor our torque. We should see it climb pretty significantly. There's 90. 91. Looking great. I love this plane. I absolutely love this plane. Alright, let's come bring it down to 80% of max. Close enough. Bank limiter doesn't seem to function in this aircraft, but I've noticed that before. Oh, yes it does. Disregard that. Disregard that. Worked perfectly fine. Mugz, you are the man. We have our plane back. Absolutely phenomenal. I am so stoked. I can tell you what we're going to be in our next live stream, guys. By the way, for those of you who have watched or tried to watch that previously, I'm sorry for the lack of live streams this week. This week was just crazy. Absolutely crazy. We're in pack mode, you know, for the house, and just things just kept coming up one after another, and I wanted to stream last night, and by the time that I got everything squared away, it was so late. So I do apologize. We will be resuming our normal schedule this week. Although I'm going to be changing it. We're going to be live streaming earlier this week. We're going to be starting probably about 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So that was a request that I changed that time frame to be more family oriented, which I can respect. Look at that. She's so beautiful. Oh, I missed you. I missed you so much. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up for an approach. We're just going to do a nice visual approach, nothing too crazy here. So let's disengage all of our autopilot systems here. We can actually leave the yaw damper on for now, truth be told. And let's pull power way back. Using that trim hat, responding well. Double check our barometric pressure. 2.9 or 9.4, that changed rapidly. Trimmer to a nice gentle descent. We're already pretty low. And there's our airfield. Alright, so we're going to go flaps 1. Monitoring the flap control down there on the bottom of the MFD. Flaps 1 verified. Gear coming down. Now obviously this is just a preliminary test. Still many things that could be of issue, but we're just making sure for the moment the aircraft's flyable and functional. As far as I can tell here, it is. I'm sort of doing a weird approach angle, and this is just so I can see it without using the mouse. I'm going to go full flaps here. Try to get us down to 85 knots on the approach. Continuing to trim down. There's 85. We're passing through it, so let's power back on. Ah, crap. I need the inertial separator. So we're going to fly a little goofy for a minute. Need the inertial separator back on, and we need the yaw damper turned off for landing. It's a little bit of a weird entry. It's funny how the wind direction has suddenly changed. Now it makes sense for 298. But on takeoff, as soon as we left the runway, it was showing us with a tailwind. Yeah, master caution's good. They're just letting us know the inertial separator's on. No problems there. Lights are still all set. Should be anyway. Good. little slow. Bringing some power back on. Nice windy day here. We actually got a storm that's just getting ready to roll in. Honestly, we probably should have landed on the perpendicular runway. It's a pretty nasty crosswind. What are we at? 6 knots? That's not. I guess that's not too bad. Definitely manageable for us, right? Come on, sweet lady. You always gotta sweet talk them. Alright, I had to step away for a minute. Found a tarantula in the garage. Nice space shuttle approach. You guys know how I love my space shuttle landings. Don't worry, we'll smooth her out here in a minute. Oh, crap. Okay, cool, he's crossing. Alright, now it's taking a ton of power. 70 knots, we're still flying. 65 knots, still flying. There we go. Wow. There we go. She's down. Alright, come back to me, girl. Alright. Trigger that reverse prop. Worked great. Alright. So definitely not one of the cleanest flights that I've done, but again, that wasn't its intention. It was just sort of see how she flies, test a couple of the features, make sure there aren't any major crashes happening just from starting it or flying it. But everything seems to be working great, guys. So I'd say we have our TBM back. So once again, thanks. Big shout out to MixMugz. Fantastic work. Look forward to see what the next update has for it. And guys, you stay tuned for the next episode where we'll do a full flight in our TBM. But I'm super stoked to have her back. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Super excited.